All right, welcome back to Lockdown Sports. 7:15 in the morning on the other side of the world. I'm awake, so are you. You're on the way to work, we are as well, but let's talk about the Euros. Euros. Match day 3, Group A. John,
Yeah,
well, I want to say it was a fun game, but really I got bored in that second half just watching balls lumped into the box.
yeah,
Switzerland won, Germany won. Not the way the hosts had the game planned out, I would say. Where do you think this game was? I was about to say won and lost, but where do you think
yeah.
this
I
game
thought the
was
same as
drawn?
well. Yeah, look, Germany very easily could have lost that game, as we saw. Switzerland got that second goal, which was disallowed as well. But yeah, Switzerland they imposed themselves physically in this game, and Germany just struggled with that. They tried to play around with the ball too much, and in defense and in attack as well. Switzerland just they wanted it more physically, and they were just getting on them. Something I noticed in the first half as well. The Switzerland forwards they were getting to the balls much quicker than the German defenders. They just seemed to want it more. And then they
Mm,
got rewarded with that goal as well to Ndoye, just winning the ball and going on a quick 2-2 counter. And defensively in
yeah,
the second half, they played physical, bodied them up. Germany fell down a lot, asking for fouls. The ref wasn't giving it to them, so that just played into Switzerland's hands. And they almost got away with the win, but Germany scraped through with that full crew header in injury time.
yeah. And Fulkrug is so different to Kai Havertz. And
Yeah,
I remember in match day 1 I was talking to Griggs and we were having that chat. Is Kai Havertz the guy? And
yeah,
he was telling me, obviously, with Havertz, what you get is someone who's a little bit neater on the ball, someone that's just going to offload the ball.
yeah.
Mm?
I mean, yeah, typically yes, but today he wasn't. But it wasn't just him. Like the front four from Germany were Musiala, Gundogan, and Havertz. None of them were neat on the ball. Like in the first half, Musiala was trying a bit too hard when he was on the ball and taking a touch too many, and then just forcing it, and they kept losing that ball. Same with Wirtz. Gundogan was just trying to play Man City link up the whole game. In fact, all of Germany, they played a prime Man City game from the last few years, minus no Haaland up top. So that's what we watched today. And they just struggled to get into the box and create any real good scoring chances. And we saw that disallowed goal. It was a shot from Andre from about 25, 30 yards out. Other than that, they didn't really create much.
Yeah, they weren't a threat. And look, I was about to get into some Kai Havertz slander, but I'll keep it nice and short.
Okay.
This is not a striker, bro. This is not a striker. If he's gonna play anywhere, he's a striker, second striker. But
Yeah.
for all the link up in the world you'll get from him, because he's not the best technician. We talk
Mm.
about nines that aren't known for scoring goals. Bobby Firmino, guys that were pure technicians. This guy is
Mm.
nowhere near that. So he's a bit of a focal point. He's a bit of a technician. He's a master of none. And then you have Fulkrug, who every time he plays, he gives you something different.
Yeah, there's an impact. You
And
feel it.
and people are like, oh, he might disrupt the flow if you're lumping balls at him. Well, if you use him as a target man to get out of the first, second, third of the pitch, Verts, Musiala, Gundogan, they're all going to play off him. They're all going to play off
Yeah.
him perfectly fine. So going forward, I think Germany has a question to answer. Do you see Nagelsmann changing it, John?
I think he might. I don't think he's someone who's scared to make changes where he feels it's right to do so. And I think both games, game one and game three, when Fulkrug has come on, he's made an impact. He scored in both games. That first game wasn't as important, but today it was so important for them to get that win in the group and finish on top. But yeah, going to the round of 16, depending on who their matchup is, I feel like he'll definitely consider it.
Yeah, exactly right. And the rest of the team, something you mentioned and something I mentioned as well during the game, with how much of the game was about them equalizing today. The first goal goes in the 28th minute from
Mm,
Switzerland. Fullbacks were nice and high for Germany, maybe a
very
bit too high. And what I noticed was Andrich was actually playing as more of a third centre back today. In between Tar and Rudiger to start. And I didn't really understand that at all because you look at this lineup. If you've got Andrich dropping in, then Tony Cruz is on somewhat of an island, wouldn't you say?
To some extent, yeah. But I think that was all Switzerland. Like, once again, going back to our classic NBA comparisons, we talk about the defense giving away what they want. And Switzerland, they played that to an absolute fiddle today. They packed the middle up to take away Cruz and Gundogan and all the link up when the wingers come invert into the middle. And they just forced the fullbacks to cross it all day. That's what they did. And that's why we saw Kimmich and Milota up so high, because they had the space and they just crossed it all day. And Switzerland were able to deal with it because there's no real big man threat in there. And then once we saw full crew came on, then that kind of opened up and they got rewarded with the goal. But Switzerland pretty much played that game plan all the
Yeah,
game, and they
to
always
be
paid off with the win.
yeah, I think the Switzerland game plan has always been good. You know, they laughed at me when France lost. You laughed at me when France lost. But
I would never. I would never.
this is a solid team that will make the quarters if they continue on this sort of trajectory. You know,
Yeah.
they're a quarterfinals Euro sort of team.
Yeah.
But I was more talking about what Germany was doing out of possession, John. You know, when
Mm.
Andrich is still there, sort of as a third centre back, that's when I got worried about Tony Cruz. I think there were a few moments where Kimmich is sort of helping join that midfield, not so much be a wide threat. But I'm just looking
Yeah.
at Gundogan, Musiala, and Wirtz. If we see Andrich play like that against a bigger team, these three guys, they're going to have to work a lot more in defense. They're going to have to be a lot deeper. And
Yeah.
because of that, you're going to see less and less of a goal threat. When you play Kai Havertz, you need Musiala, Gundogan, and Wirtz to really take that next step and just be the best guys on the goddamn pitch, which, to be honest, guys, I don't think they were today. I don't think they were today. Who would you have as the man of the match?
Someone that comes to mind straight away is Manuel Akanji.
Mm.
Trying to think who else could have been there. Xhaka had also had quite a good game. I think I might go Akanji. He ran the backline really well, and then he also made that big block on Kimmich around the 70th minute as well. So I'll probably go with Akanji.
You say it's a big block. I think Kimmich does
That was
what
huge.
Antoine Griezmann did a couple of days ago. He sort of bobbles on it, but like he was there. He was there.
Yeah, but like when I saw that happen, I thought that was a goal for all money, and he came out of nowhere, stretched out
Yeah.
like it. So yeah.
Look, I'm gonna blame Kimmich for that one, because in this team, the only guys I really trust to shoot are Wirtz, Musiala, and Fulkrug.
Gundogan.
They've got three.
Not even.
Gundogan.
Not even. Yeah.
I mean, not as a shooter, but tap ins
But
like as a poacher, yes.
okay, that's fair. Who would
Yeah.
you
Like
who would you have had as man of the match?
I think what you said, Akanji. I think I was more awake in the second half, and Ruben Vargas. Um, he always just looks good. He always just looks interesting. I think that's more down to how he plays and how much
Yeah.
freedom he had in the
I
second
mean,
half.
I probably would have had Embolo or
Mm.
Enjoy ahead of him as well. Embolo had a
Yeah,
great game, even though he didn't have any direct impact like in the box in terms of creating goal scoring chances. He got them field position so many times by winning the ball up high and holding it, or winning
agreed.
fouls, or just putting pressure on the
100.
Germans. And they were controlling possession well and playing in the Swiss half, but he really got them out of trouble and got them space to work in throughout the game, which was so important for them.
Fellas, if you're watching right now, let me know how far you think Germany can go in the Euros, because now, obviously, having secured that first spot in Group A, the road is, I wouldn't say fairly simple to the final, but that's what everyone has been saying, John. But
Yeah, I mean,
the last two games, we were saying before, we fall into this cliche of you never know with international football. It's a cliche for a reason. And part of my predictions, I had Germany spontaneously going out in the round of 16,
yeah.
which,
Who was that two you had in the bracket challenge? Who did you have them
uh,
going on to?
don't worry. when you got to put those third place teams in your bracket challenge,
Ah, okay.
that
Yeah,
that's
okay.
that's when like it could be anyone. It could be anyone. We don't
Yeah,
know who they're gonna play.
yeah. So, I mean, with myself, before the tournament, I had
Mm,
Germany going to the final, and first two games, it looked like it was fairly smooth sailing. And then today, they faced a bit of adversity, and it didn't look like they dealt with it well, which is a bit of a
mm.
concern. But at the same time, there hasn't been a single team in this tournament that has looked convincing. Everyone's had their issues, everyone's had their struggles. So I'm still fairly confident in my pick in Germany to go through to the final. But yeah, not the best of signs today.
Yeah, and we'll just have a quick look at who's potentially on their side of the draw. I think Portugal and Spain will be on that
I
side.
heard it was a runner up in Group C during the
I think
coverage.
Spain will be like the quarterfinal. The quarterfinal will be
Oh,
Spain.
okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But let's see how it goes. I'm not too fussed. I think every match, quarterfinals and beyond, is going to be a good game. So
Yeah.
here's to hoping we actually get some good football because, again, today, I fully agree with what you said about Switzerland having the right plan. Embolo playing out of his skin, being a menace for the back line,
Yeah.
as much as you can be against Tara and Rudiger.
Yeah. Which was
But
surprising. You did a great job.
I need I need the tango. I need the tango of like international football. I need both teams like going at it. And
Yeah.
look, when some of the X factors off the Germany bench, they weren't really that for me today. Sane was again standard 5, 6 out of 10, not doing too
Yeah.
much, but not really a problem. And
Yep.
was it Maya that came on as well?
I cannot
It was
remember his
Bayer,
name, if I'll be
Bayer,
honest.
Bayer, number 14 for Germany, who came on as well. And again, not really much doing. David Raum comes on at left back for everyone's fantasy football favorite Mittelstadt and grabs an assist for the Fulkrug header. A
Yeah.
couple other pieces that were rotated. I don't know if Jonathan Tah is actually suspended now.
Yeah, he is. He's gone for the
He
next
is?
game. That's why he got subbed off in the 60th, so they could get some minutes for the guy who will replace him, which was quite a smart sub, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, well, it is smart now that you say it to bring Schlotter back on, but I was going to
Very
say
smart.
just
Yeah.
play him out. But yeah, in that sense, the next match is very important.
Yeah,
Every match
100%.
now is do or die.
Yeah.
And people going into this tournament, they criticized Nagelsmann for not selecting
Matt
Hummels
Hummels. Yeah.
and also not playing Schlotterbeck. You know, Schlotterbeck is in Europe one of the better centre backs. I feel very comfortable on the ball, much more
Mm.
than Tar and Rudiger, and
Yeah.
he has the pace to match Rudiger. I think Tar is a little bit not up there compared to
Yeah.
someone as pacey as him. Kind of in that Mickey Van de Ven mold. Maybe Van de Ven is in the Schlotterbeck mold. I don't know, but
Yeah.
they're solid. They're pacey. Do you think it's going to be a problem, that sort of adjustment, him playing with Rudiger?
Um, it's tough to say because they haven't had a lot of time playing together, and
Mm.
they looked all right, I guess, in the 30 minutes they had together. But Switzerland did score that disallowed
Yeah,
goal by the finest
I thought they were
margins. But
very open. I wouldn't say it
yeah,
was at faults of them,
exactly.
but
That really wasn't on them. That was like because the German fullbacks were up so high, and when they did get countered, a lot of the times it was 2-on-2 or 3-on-2, and they just Switzerland played it well and they got the goal. But yeah, just
mm,
offside.
yeah, and it's funny because we see all the rotation, and I'll have the subs up for you now, fellas. Here,
Yeah. See.
you've got Mark Andre Stegen just chilling as he always does for the last 10 years in a German bench seat,
Yeah.
and then you've
Speaking of the
got
keeper though, that
yeah.
save from Neuer on Xhaka was huge, huge. The fact that and since
Mm.
Germany equalized after that as well, it's an even bigger save because I thought that was going in that around the 85th
Mm.
minute. You're not sure what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That long
That
ranger
was a
and
great try. That was
Xhaka.
sneaking inside it. Great save from Neuer as well.
Xhaka in a
Great save.
Switzerland jersey is quite good. And even with Leverkusen this year, he's obviously had an amazing season. But look at these
Yeah.
other guys. You've got Thomas Muller did not
Yeah.
play. Pascal Grosch did not play. Emre Can did not play. Some of these guys, as the tournament wears on, I don't know. I don't know if Gundogan and Cruz are going to last 120, are going to last 90, and such little
Mm.
minutes. I think Gross played in the first game. I didn't watch the second game, but he may have had some minutes there. I'm just curious how that's going to play out. Obviously, Emre Can can do a little bit of everything, but how
Yeah,
do you
I'll
feel
probably
about this
like to see
depth?
Emre Can come on. What were you
How do you
saying?
feel about the depth?
Um, with the midfield, I don't mind it, to be honest, with Pascal Gross and Emre Can, depending on like what kind of style you guys are playing or who you are versing. You got
Mm,
slightly different midfielders and what they do, so you got a couple of options there. Typically, I would prefer to go with Emre Can. He just brings a bit of toughness, and he's kind of that Swiss Army knife. He can do a bit of everything.
mm.
But in terms of the other positions, we saw the subs they made today. The guy who came on at left back, I forgot his name, but he played
David
quite
Raum.
well after coming on. And
Mm.
then Fulkrug, as we saw today, and in game one, when he comes on, he changes the game in the way Germany
Hey,
play and
hey, that's
opens
not depth. That's not depth.
up.
That's
You don't want it to be
that's
depth,
that's
but
that's
at the moment
QB
it is.
one. That's
At
QB.
the moment it is.
That's wide receiver
QB1,
one. That's
running
whatever
back one,
position you
everything.
want to put it. That's one. That's
Yeah,
one.
yeah. I mean, look, he opens it up a lot for them, and he's had an impact in both games he's come on. And yeah, I mean, you got the midfield there. He got him up top to come on, and in the back line, they've got a few reinforcements. So depth is quite good for them, to be honest.
Yeah. And really quickly, the other game, guys, in Group A, probably the one that we should have
Yeah.
watched. Hungary
I
versus
mean, we don't know.
Scotland.
It could have been a snooze fest for the first 95, but we saw that last five, and it was electric. Absolutely electric.
Yeah, that's what I like to see. I like to see both teams go at it, and
Yeah,
these do or die environments are the only thing that can bring that out. And you saw
yeah,
Scotland essentially dominate injury time, but Hungary score against the run of play, give
yeah,
themselves, I would say, a 10-15% chance of making
yeah.
it to the next round,
Because they
which
finished
is more
on
than 0.
2 points, right?
More, they finished on 3 with the win today.
Did they lose to? Oh, they lost. Yeah, they
Yeah.
did. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So Hungary lost their first 2 games, guys. Win today against Scotland gets them to 3 points, finishing third in the group. I'm not sure how this one's going to play out in terms of the third place seedings. 6 out of 8
think
teams
they
make
might
it.
miss out on goal difference, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it would be quite easy for them to miss out. And
Yeah.
I don't think they've impressed. Today they score.
No.
You don't, they're not, I'm not hearing about a good Szoboszlai performance. I think he's been a shadow of the idea that he's meant to be, because we
Yeah.
haven't seen it often enough in a Liverpool jersey as well. But I'm keen to see what they look like in future tournaments, because last Euros they were in the group of death, if you remember, with France, Germany, Portugal,
Mhm.
and they looked all right. But I think this has been underwhelming on the back of that.
Yeah. Agree. I
All
mean,
right.
with Hungary as well, watching
Hmm?
their couple of games, so Bosley, he's just been on the left wing, and quite a bit of the time he's been just out of the game. I don't know why they've got him out on the left wing, just hanging there. I feel like with him as their leader and their main player, their main guy, you've got to get him in the middle more to run the show a bit and be more of a constant threat rather just when the ball's on one side. And even when it is, it's easy to get double teamed there, which has been happening to him, and he's just had to give the ball up. So I want to see him more in the middle for them in future times.
Yeah, let's see how it goes, because I, I feel like those teams always have potential, but we've seen even with Poland, Poland always underwhelms. Despite how much firepower they had, they always underwhelmed. And it's a really unique position to just have so much focus around you. Some teams have not done it well. You look at Switzerland, yes, they're a bit more established, but there was a time when David Alaba was playing midfield for these guys, because there was no other
You mean
options, and
Austria?
you just, oh Lord, it's that time of the morning.
Yeah.
Austria, yes, I was like, he's never played. Yeah, cool. Austria. And Austria is a good example of, those teams where there are less options. But
Yeah.
now they've got more of a team and they've got more of a system. It's which one do you weigh up? Like you're seeing, as you suggested, Szoboszlai in more of a system. Would you have that more heliocentric? Would you have that more focus on him getting touches long term?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Because he is the one true quality player on the team. And
Mm,
if you're not playing through him, especially as if he's a defender, it's a different case. But if he's a midfielder or a forward, you got to play through him. And they've got him on the left wing where he's just
mm.
getting trapped. He's got to give it up. And anytime he does get the ball, it's quite far away from the goal. So he's not much of a threat either. So I'd like to see him more in the middle and feed others or just drive himself because that's something he's also good at.
Let's see how it plays out. But the last thing I want to talk about is obviously, well, as I said, it was a do or die moment. The last 10 minutes, both teams needed a goal between
Yeah.
Scotland and Hungary. And the new Champions League format, for as
Mm.
weird and wacky as it is, having 36 teams in one massive group stage, what that could actually provide, John, is such massive swings in your league position based on a win and a loss that
Mm.
I feel you do get a bit of that do and die atmosphere in a group stage setting. Um,
Yeah.
in the Champions League. We never really see it. Maybe for one game, it's we see the similar thing to the Euros where you have that do or die. But those swings are massive. If you don't win all of your games, there's a decent chance you fall out of the automatic qualification to the next
Yeah.
round. If you have to
How
play
are
the
they
playoff
structuring it
round,
again with the 36 teams?
yeah.
I
So
forgot.
36 teams, you're in pools of 9,
Yeah.
and you verse 2 opponents from each group. Um,
Okay.
So eight group stage games. After that, you rank the teams. The top 8 make it through to the round of 16. The next 16,
You.
so from positions
Oh,
9 to
oh yes, that's
24,
right. I remember.
they
Yeah.
play a qualifier
Yeah.
to get in to the round of 16. So
Others
to
qualify as one leg, two legs.
I think it's just 2 legs. I think it's just the standard 2 legs. Everything is 2
Yeah.
legs up until the final. And as much as this new system is going to ask for more games, more demand on the players, what we get, which is always good, I guess, is a football game every 3 days. But we'll get more knockout matches, more group state matches with
Yeah.
bigger velocity for change in the league. So there's no rotating going around, I reckon, nowhere near as much compared to before with the Champions League,
Yeah.
where if you win your first 3 or 4, last 2 games, you can play the Rico Lewises, you can play the Cole Palmers, you can play
No.
whoever Man
Oh,
City
you
was
just had a
playing back
Gareth
in the day.
Southgate moment, please. Oh, don't piss me off at this time in the morning.
Yeah,
Oh,
whoever it is, that's riding the bench these days. Tomorrow, what games do we have tomorrow, John?
Croatia and Italy and Spain and Albania.
Okay. Croatia, Italy. I think we're locked in for that one. I think you guys are too. Whoever's watching, we really appreciate it. Hit the like button. We're doing daily Euros videos, so hit the subscribe button too so you can stick around. That's it from now. I'm Param. That's Jono. Weekly basketball, football, cricket content at Lockdown Sports. Stay tuned. Ciao.
So yeah.